You know what? The iPhone SE 3 is still a pretty decent phone. And over the last few days, I've been using it a little bit for gaming, photography, and I even watched some video on it. But it's compact, powerful, and of course, budget friendly. But does it still hold up in a world of foldables and high refresh displays? Let's break it down. So first, a quick recap on the SE3, also known as the 2022 iPhone SE. But it features the Apple A15 Bionic chip. It's the same processor used in the iPhone 13 lineup. That means even though it's small and affordable, its packaging has some good performance under the hood. It's got a smaller display, of course, at 4.7 inches. It does have Touch ID on it and a design that mirrors, basically the iPhone 8, so like pretty old school. But not a bad thing exactly. On the camera side, it's got a single 12 megapixel rear shooter, but benefits heavily from photography thanks to the A15 chip. It also supports 5G and runs the latest iOS updates and has a starting storage of 64 gigs. I would highly recommend going higher than that if you end up, taking a look at this phone. But let's talk about what makes the SE3 still a solid pick today. First is the performance. The A15 chip is still snappy even this year, whether you're browsing, multitasking, or even playing, demanding games like Call of Duty Mobile or some other ones I'm going to be playing in this, it handles them smoothly. Second, software updates. So Apple is known for long-term support. And since the SE3, launched way back with iOS 15, it's still easily supported, and I could see it going to like iOS 20 or beyond, right? Third, it's got Touch ID. So believe it or not, some people still prefer having that physical home button. I mean, it is pretty cool. I'm not going to lie. I kind of miss it. And finally, price. This phone, typically you're going to find it but under $250. Easy, guys, easy. And, speaking of that, if you are looking for some good pricing on this and some discounts, I will have some links in either the description or pinned comment for that. But let's be real. The SE3 isn't perfect. There are some areas where it definitely shows its age, design-wise. It's basically like a 2017, 2018, 2019 iPhone. It's got some thick bezels on it. It's got a smaller 4.7-inch screen. 60 hertz refresh, make it a little bit outdated next to some other, budget phones with better OLED displays. The battery life is another area of concern. Honestly, though, I think the battery life on this has actually held up pretty well, and I'm being honest. And, the camera, even though... I said I've been using this phone the last few days for a few different things. I was taking some pictures on it, and they look good. Video recording is also good. And with that said, I do think this phone makes sense if you're looking to get, maybe a secondary phone, something compact, reliable, and a little bit smaller. Also, if you're someone who just, doesn't care about the latest trends and wants a basic iPhone for texting, FaceTime, music, a little bit of gaming, watching video even, the SE3 will absolutely get the job done. It's also a strong choice for anybody who just wants long-term software support, a reliable camera for shots, and kind of the consistency of the iOS, ecosystem. So here's the deal, guys. The iPhone SE3, I think is still worth buying, right? It has some, things that aren't perfect, but if you want some value, a modern design, solid camera, even though the phone is a little bit aged. I just think that, it's dependable, it's still fast, it's affordable, and it's still going to be getting all those updates, which is huge. Anytime you get something iOS, eventually they stop giving updates for, phones, iPads, things like that. But over time, you've still got some years with this one. So here's the deal, guys. Let me know in the comments what you think about the SE3, if you would still get this. I still think it is a good phone. I do want to wrap things up doing a little bit of gaming on it because honestly, I'm a huge mobile gamer. You can kind of see some of it in action, and don't forget to tap that like and let's freaking run it.
Hardpoint identified. Hostiles have a hard point. Hard point locked down. Hard point contested. Awaiting orders. Hardpoint identified. Capture the objective. Our gunner is ready to deploy. Hostiles have the hardpoint. Sniper eliminated.
Enemy down.
Hardpoint locked down. We've taken the lead. Hardpoint contested.
Target down.
Hardpoint contested. Hardpoint lost. Hardpoint identified. Capture the objective.
Enemy down.
Hostiles have captured the hardpoint.